வரல. Didn't turn up.
Yeah, என்ன பண்றது? So
Because the Chinnathala, not the Suresh Raina, the Chinnathala Kohli turned up. Big way.
big way. No, so I heard, I mean, just as an aside, I heard Virendra Sehwag he had a very good solution for this.
What?
பெரிய தலையை கூட்டிட்டு வரலான்னு. யார?
I don't know. Oh, he's to, I mean, he's just, by CSK standards, he's still very young. He's just 70.
No, he doesn't have to bat, no.
But
So Sehwag added, he said, look, our friend Kedar Jadhav, if Taleva happens to come and CSK happens to win, just in case, so Sehwag said that Kedar Jadhav would say, why didn't you call him when I was not batting, man?
Better. Exactly.
Because Taleva would do, whoo, and the ball would go for 6. Enna porudhu? So anyway, jokes apart.
See, by the way, I mean, since you brought up Kedar, I didn't want to talk to him, but since you brought him up, the replacement Jagadisan did all right. Though it was his debut match, and he had a very ordinary, despite what Gavaskar said, he had a very ordinary domestic season. He might have had a decent TNPL, but he had a very ordinary domestic season. Despite all those things, he didn't look fluent. He was nervy, but in spite of that, he still did better than Kedar Jadhav, because Kedar Jadhav was such a low bar to cross.
So for me, the biggest problem
if
is
anything.
The bigger problem for me in my mind was, I mean, I will like a broken record, I will stick to it. I mean, when you have a Dwayne Bravo and
Exactly.
Jadeja
We need
below,
to talk that.
Below, why would you, and then your two pillars get out? I mean, you were what, 36? What was the score? Do you remember? I forgot.
26 for 2.
26 for 2 in whatever number of 4 overs or whatever.
Scar is still fresh.
What is still fresh?
Looks like the scar is still fresh.
Okay, scar is fresh. It never heals. Scars don't go heal. They just fade away. It takes time.
Yeah, my point is that why wouldn't you try to up the run rate with, I mean, worst case scenario, the guy will play 6 balls and go. But at least up the run rate, no. Jagadish at that point, 4 below was, I think, completely off in my mind. Although I put in a very strong performance towards before he got out.
That way. No, that is the default Kedar Jadhav template. Okay, so start by scoring run a ball, and towards the end they score like 3-4 boundaries, so that when you get dismissed, you don't look.
I'm surprised Kedar Jadhav has a template. Okay.
I didn't want to use another name, so.
I think in his entire IPL career across three franchises, I think he has got 3 or 4 50s, man.
Okay. No, I didn't want to use another name because that is the template he follows usually.
I mean, I don't remember any innings of note from him for CSK except for the 2018 first match where he scored 20 odd maximum. But since CSK won, that innings has got a larger than life image. But it is certainly not the case. But Raj is right about not, Jagadisan, who, though I was kind of okay with this batting, but Jagadisan was not the person to send in. Neither Dhoni should have walked in. It's either Sam Curran or Jadeja. If you are not sending him at number 3, at least send him at number 4, Jadeja and Sam Curran. I mean, the situation cried out for that. I mean, as he said, whether they would have scored.
Jadeja, now that he's not bowling him 4 over spells anymore, what is the? It doesn't look like they have a very clear-cut role. It looks like he's just a fielder in the team, because they
and an average fielder at that. He dropped one more catch.
No, I never thought. I never thought we'll see the day where we call Jadeja an average fielder.
That's what things have come to
in
this CSK 11. No, in this particular
CSK 11. That is the point. I think again, and I think we have discussed this multiple times. It is just that intent which is missing. See, remember one thing. CSK has won 2 matches till now, right? First of them was against who?
Mumbai Indians.
Yeah. They are considered
the best team and the worst team.
Yes, considered the strongest team. They won. Again, they won one more match where nobody got out. Nobody got on. Kings 11, by the way, has always been a decent bowling outfit. And I think that match, Bhuvaneshwar was there, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Bhuvaneshwar, even if he was not there, he would not have been playing because he turns up for Hyderabad.
Okay. No, whom did he play? Whom did they play against?
Kings 11 Punjab.
Even then. So the same Kings 11, nobody got out that match. So we had two games where they really showed what they're capable of, and now they think they are also bored of showing what they're capable of.
Exactly.
They're showing we are capable of this also.
We are capable of plumbing new depths.
Yeah, Chennai Express can derail. Whatever Shah Rukh Khan says.
Yeah.
So,
but mighty impressive performance by Kohli.
Yeah, I think
Apparently,
Kohli has arrived in this
Kohli has,
IPL.
and it's not just slam bang. I mean, I think it's a kind of I mean, I don't want to use the word paradigm, but to score nearly 50 runs just of not of boundaries by just running in a T20 match it's almost impossible, man. I've never come across such an innings.
And no, I think one thing we're missing is that yes, he did score 50 runs of his running, but the reason for that is because he was not extremely fluent during the first part of the innings. And he's a player of that caliber that he makes sure that even when he's struggling, it doesn't affect his team. But even when he's not fluent, he makes sure that he gets these ones and twos
just one
to
thing,
make sure that.
Gautam, one thing, you said it right. However, in the last over, he took 5 doubles.
Yes,
doubles. Exactly. He was not able,
and he was very fluent by then.
Yes.
This is just
because Bravo was bowling that over very well. Raj is right.
It is opportunism. See, he knows where to get runs. See, it's as simple. And it's not as if he wasn't tired. You saw Virat Kohli for the first time going down, not on his haunches, but he was actually standing with his, body.
He was
hanging his body, bent down, right? He was tired. And Sehwag had a point. I was again listening to Sehwag is coming out very brilliantly in Hindi commentary. He had a point. He says Dubai and Abu Dhabi, there is a difference. Abu Dhabi, the ground is faster, slightly faster. The ball lands. If you hit the ball in the air, lands, it sort of rolls onto the.
Oh, okay.
Here it doesn't roll. That is Sehwag's point. I think we need to keep that in mind. And that is where Virat Kohli figured things out. He knew that. And then he was making everybody run.
Yeah. Kohli basically outran his partner. He outran the entire team of CSK.
And I was particularly impressed with, he better throw from third man when the Dhoni had a typical mercurial run out to this thing.
Yes.
If one man could have bet that, it was Kohli, and he did that.
Gautam has put it on his Instagram.
Yeah.
He just put it on his Instagram.
The slide is absolutely smooth. The thing is, it's not
that's
just
what
the
Jagadish failed to do, and somebody in the commentary pointed it out. Jagadish didn't even try to dive. Put in the dive. See, what was impressive about Kohli's innings was his first 34 runs came of 30 balls.
Yeah.
And his next 56 runs came of 22 balls.
I think first 43, when he was 43, it came off 32 balls, if I'm not wrong.
So 34 of 30. At the end of 14 overs, it was Virat Kohli was 34 of 30.
Okay.
Yeah, he went slowly, and then he had to go slowly because this is the brilliant part. Yesterday we were talking exactly about this, right? One of the topics we were talking about is how do batsmen change their roles according to the situation. You saw this guy do it very nicely. Very, very nicely.
Definitely, I think,
he did it. Yeah.
And one other thing we are overlooking is that if this change of gear hadn't happened, CSK would have chased us to a total of 130, 140, which was very, very attainable.
And we would have
done it.
Yeah, we would have still tried to not attain it.
We have enough ways. When I say we, CSK have enough ways to go below the target, man. Don't worry.
We fly under the radar.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, we will take this off the record.
Even within, Kohli is within, despite running and all, he also tried some cute strokes, and one stroke he almost did a De Villiers, and he was very happy. He was giggling.
I actually want to see more of Kohli doing that. He's been too much of a goody when it comes to batting. So he only plays orthodox shots.
See, my point is when he can score with orthodox shots, why does he need to be cute? See, even that shot, if you look at, why not mean, see, you are scoring runs, right? You're not, see, which is where people are getting out. If you are trying to be cutesy for the sake of being cute, that is when you get out. Virat Kohli, that particular shot he played, if you notice the field placings in that place, that was the only empty. Yeah, that was the only empty spot.
Area.
Empty area. You don't need to be cute just like that.
True,
See, even yesterday you saw, who hit that reverse sweep yesterday? Somebody, Jagadish only.
Jagadish hit.
That was a terrific shot. it was not a reverse sweep. It was a switch hit. He turned around. He suddenly became a different handed batsman, if I might, and he took you down. I mean, behind this thing.
Tuki Uta is a very good word, Raj. Good.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
you
what
are.
it is.
And Kohli was
And
really
one
pumped
more
up.
thing with Kohli, one more interesting thing I noticed was Washington Sundar looked to be in a different mood yesterday when he was batting. He got out fine. I mean, the ball he got out was probably he was trying for another shot. That time, Kohli was not going hammer and tongs. He was actually giving strike to Sundar.
Yes.
This is called being in the moment, being in the present. And that is something our man seems to be excelling at.
And when
I
Shivam
think
Dube hit a six, Kohli was more pumped up than Shivam Dube. I mean, that's also team spirit, and that was great to see.
Yeah. And
I think
who dropped the catch? That is when he was even more pumped. It's like
Yeah.
kids we used to do.
Hey.
I think after
I had
as
this one.
much
I'll just share one incident of mine. I mean, this is just an anecdote which I mean Bala would definitely find interesting. Gautam probably wasn't born then, so it doesn't matter. There was a India-Pakistan test match in Delhi, 1979.
Yeah, as
So
a big ball team.
As a big ball team. So we were some youngsters. We were all sitting in the near the not the pavilion side, opposite side.
Other side.
The other side. So our Zahir Abbas was fielding there. I don't remember who the batsman was, whatever it was. So the ball went up, and Delhi is a small ground, right? It was always that size only. The ball went high up, and then from behind, all kids, chhod de, chhod de, chhod de, chhod de, chhod diya. Like he dropped the catch. He turned around and gave us a dirty look, man. I mean, I can never forget that look.
That's a good one.
So when I saw Kohli do that, I remembered my Delhi days, man. I mean, this is exactly what we used to do. And all of us in unison, chhod de, like crescendo and doom, he'll drop the catch.
Almost stage managed.
he probably misses when he looks at Dubai and people playing in empty stadiums, he's probably like why couldn't I have played in these grounds?
Seriously. Yeah, you were saying something, Gautam. Sorry, I digressed.
No, so I was just saying that I think it's a combination of both his mastery over his batting and his fitness, and also the game awareness he has.
Exactly.
He knows when to. I mean, he was criticized for this in the last game when the RCB team was chasing a score and he was not able to up the run rate. But this game he was able to compensate for it. He was able to, and I think it's the last 4 overs that made the difference. Up until then, the bowlers were also good. The CSK bowlers were also good. And the last 4 overs, he was able to change the gear. And even with one boundary, he was able to score 10 runs an over by running twos and
exactly.
threes. So
see, till I mean, when you look at this comparison scorecard, till around 16 or 17 overs, CSK were slightly ahead.
Yeah.
Which is surprising.
I saw Bala's tweet yesterday. Bala said, I mean, 3 of the 4 captains had a good day. I mean, sad, but the fourth one didn't. So actually, yesterday 3 captains actually did well, if you remember. So I mean, since Gautam said, I mean, since we have talked so much about Kohli, let me just bring in we need to say something something which is not complimentary. No, so in my mind, Kohli still needs to be a bowler's captain sometimes. One example, I mean, I was looking at the bowling analysis. You actually had this guy, Washington Sundar, bowling very well. He still bowled 1 over shot, and that over Shivam Dube bowled and gave away 10 runs or 11 runs. Right. So, I mean, if that had not happened, CSK would have been still lower.
Or perhaps, I mean, just to be charitable, he was trying Shivam, since Washington Sundar is kind of sorted out in terms of bowling, might as well try out, because if you're not trying out against CSK, who else will you try it? Only against by his old school 11. He can try out. So
yeah, maybe that is true. Yeah, that is one way. Yeah,
but we must talk of Washington Sundar's line. Excellent length and line he bowled. It was impossible to hit him.
Yeah, in the first 2. Which brings me to this entire stupidity about leg spinners are successful in T20. Ashwin is bowling well. Washington Sundar is bowling well. And mind you, I mean, this I'm sure Bala will jump at me. Our leg spinner of Kings 11.
Kings 11, Ravi Bishnoi.
Ravi Bishnoi is also. I see him as an off spinner because he bowls too many googlies here. So 3 off spinners are doing very well.
Varun Chakravarti, he is a mystery spinner.
Varun Chakravarti. See, they call Ravi Bishnoi a mystery spinner. I really don't know where they are going here. Commentators sometimes lose it. What is the mystery? He is basically, he bowls maximum googlies and one off leg spinners. which might be different when he plays in an ODI or a test match or a longer version. At least on T20, he's bowling googly after googly after googly. Every ball is actually turning the wrong way. I mean,
but anyway, we'll get back to Sundar. His length was terrific, especially.
Brilliant.
So once he got those two openers out, the match ended then and there, because the CSK beyond those two openers doesn't have much firepower in its batting. So the match was settled around the sixth over.
You have a situation where for 10 overs you have not lost a wicket, but still your score is subpar. What do you do? Right, that is what happened yesterday. Your score is subpar, which is why I said, I mean, I'm still going with Jadeja at number 3. I'm not going to drop that issue.
Exactly.
Dhoni hears or not, I don't care.
But RCB think tank has heard you. They played Chris Morris and it paid dividends, and he took 3 wickets.
Yeah, and he was brilliant, right? Again,
he was very, very. I mean, after Washington Sundar, he was the most impressive bowler. I mean, he was equally impressive. Not
one run out
also. Exactly. Yeah. And the point of worry for RCB is, again, I have to say this. Raj, you are right. Aaron Finch at the top.
Aaron Finch seems to be. See, Finch is too good a batsman for in this situation. But the point is, give him space. Get somebody else into that position. I don't know. What would you do, Bala? I would definitely.
No. It's the problem with Finch is his average in this particular edition is around 20. Which is not okay, which we can manage, but his strike rate is around 109, 110.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is, how do you sort of, who could come in, who could go out?
That wicketkeeper they tried, no? What,
Josh Philippe.
Josh Philippe. They can go back to him. Or perhaps play Moeen Ali again, or Zampa, have Kohli open the innings.
Yeah. I hope you won't start shout if I come in, if I speak about Parthiv Patel, no?
No. Parthiv Patel, okay. Anyway, hand me down from the CSK.
Yeah, we have Kedar Jadavs and other Kedar Jadavs also. In the form of Parthiv Patel.
Parthiv Patel,
I think the RCB batting lineup is well prepared for this, except for Finch. For example, it's built around, you have Padikkal and then Finch and then Kohli and then followed by Divill. It's structured like, one guy who can be explosive and then one anchor, one guy who can But it counts on somebody like Finch firing. So, which is why I think Padikkal also faced the pressure yesterday. He was suddenly not able to up the scoring rate, and he was trying to play uncharacteristic shots.
Yeah, and the pitch was also two-paced, which is what the commentator says. I mean, when they say two-paced, it basically means one thing. They don't know what the pitch is doing.
Yeah.
Which is it's very easy euphemism for that.
It's the IT guy equivalent of server problem. So
server problem, exactly.
Or if we go further back,
slow.
Bala, if we go further back, it is the problem when Bajaj scooters never used to start.
But at least you had a way of starting it.
Yeah.
You had to tilt it.
So for me, I think Bala, your point is right. Actually, if you think about it, getting in Moeen Ali might be a good bet because you have other openers. And Moeen Ali gives you another bowler. Like you have 7 bowlers, 6 bowlers already you have.
Yeah.
So RCB always has had this bowling issues.
Now they have the luxury.
Now they have a luxury.
It is, actually, in another edition, you'd be talking of RCB in the same way that you're talking of CSK now.
Yeah. Had we done the show last year or the year before, we would have been talking RCB. So what about today now? What about today? Today 2 matches. Second match, I don't think we'll talk too much about it. We'll wait.
Yeah, because as the cliche goes, it should be a humdinger.
Yeah.
But if you actually ask anybody what humdinger actually means, nobody will know. But everyone will say humdinger of a match.
Yeah.
If you ask for an exact meaning of humdinger, I guess 9 out of 10 people will not know, and the 10th person wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But the other match would be interesting.
Yeah. So other match, it's basically time running out for one team, and the other team sort of. We have a situation in the points table which is very interesting now. The top 1 is up and above. So now today both of them will play 7 games. So one of them, there will be 2 teams on 10 or 1 team on 12 and the other team on 8. If Mumbai remains on 8, and SRH wins today, so you actually have 4 teams on 8 now.
Exactly. But I
So
would
that is the interesting part.
SRH on paper should put it past RR.
I
So
mean,
at least on paper.
so in terms of, I'll tell you where I am coming from. So when some of these matches happen, I'm not looking at the overall game in itself. I'm looking at individual performances. For example, if SRH is turning up, I
Same
definitely
here.
look for Natarajan. Ravi Bishnoi, definitely I look for. I mean, jokes apart. So in pretty much in each of the match, I'm looking for somebody, some guy who you maybe you want that person to do well because you see something interesting there, or maybe the stories also.
They have potential or prospect.
Yeah. So that is
I just, like a couple of days ago, I realized that I've been following almost all RCB matches so closely because it involves two of my favorite players, and then Padikkal is also has been that player. So I was asking myself this question: if I'm rooting for RCB silently without my knowledge. So
you're right. That is the point. See, I'm rooting.
Yeah, you live in Bangalore, man.
Hey, don't tell
so
him. Don't tell others where you live, because if you don't root for RCB, you might have a dharna outside your house. So better watch out. So you see this. I think eventually what I'm saying is that there are individual players who are actually capturing our imagination this time. I mean, I like that. There's Devdutt Padikkal on one side. Delhi, I'm not really, because I don't think we should call Prithvi Shaw a youngster anymore. He has been around for 2-3 seasons.
But I'm looking at the
comeback
of
He's 20 or 21.
Doesn't matter. He has played. No, we have seen him before. So I'm bothered about these guys who are fresh off the blocks, guys whom we have not seen in the past. So that is what excites me. I mean, even see that. I mean, the 20. See, yesterday I was quite excited to see Arshdeep Singh bowling.
Yes.
And I wonder why he keeps such a difficult name. Early morning you can't pronounce it. Evening you can't even remember it after your few drinks. So I wonder. So that is there. Hyderabad, we mentioned this guy, Natarajan. Yeah. So, I mean, every team you find somebody. See, now I'm seeing this a completely different avatar of Washington Sundar. I'm liking that.
Saini also has come.
Saini I'm liking. Some of these guys, see them, and you see them standing on their own feet now and saying, okay, this is my baby.
One other thing, if you've noticed, the likes of Arshdeep and Natarajan and Saini are actually doing it, executing their strategy better than even the most established bowlers, and that is also really interesting to see. The established bowlers are bowling length balls and they're being hit all around the park, and these people are like they're sticking with something very basic, and they're able to execute it consistently, and that is really impressive.
So even if the batsman is moving around, Arshdeep did that yesterday.
Yes.
He did that yesterday. Yesterday he did that, and it didn't matter if the batsman, and then that was Dinesh Karthik, by the way. It didn't matter if the batsman was moving around. He was still going with his plan. He was not getting sort of flustered by what the batsman was doing. So I like that. That is the thing.
Because something like that, Sam Curran tried last night, but it didn't work because it ended up in 2 wides.
I want to raise this question. Do you think this can provide a reason for national selection, like with Indian players? This can be a criteria because this is a format where it's a batsman's game, and they are after all bowling to international players, and they've been able to execute strategy to.
Certainly. I mean, for T20 Indian team, this should be a criteria in my book. See, this is as good a league as you can get. So, as you rightly said,
yes.
they are bowling to some of the best batsmen.
What about ODIs?
Yeah. No.
ODIs, it's iffy because we really don't know, because we are talking about four. See, now what happens, and I'll tell you what in my.
See, very simple. We took Kedar Jadhav and Vijay Shankar to World Cup based on their T20 performances. IPL.
No. See, that's where I'm making a distinction between batsmen and bowlers. For bowlers, it's a lot harder to perform with in the IPL. And for them to be able to consistently execute, so we can see that there's traces of so we see every other batsman scoring well in the IPL. That does not happen with bowlers. At least they don't get lucky with their performances.
No, we did that with batsmen, so it is not. What holds true for batsmen, it's also true for bowlers. I think we shouldn't read too much into it. Sorry, Raj, go ahead. Sorry.
I'll tell you one. I'll tell you my thought, and it's basically the same. I mean, the outcome is the same. See, when you are bowling 4 overs, the chances are that even if the same two batsmen continue facing you, it's just 4 overs, which basically means 24 deliveries. 24 deliveries, it's easier to make your permutation combinations with whatever options you have compared to 10 into 60 deliveries. That is where the problem. 60 deliveries, it takes a little bit more time. And imagine the same situation. So you are, in ODIs also, you are having batsmen scoring big runs. Double centuries are happening in ODIs, right? That never was the case. Rohit Sharma scores more runs himself than teams used to score for much of 2 decades, right?
Exactly.
So in such a situation, now what happens when your variations run out?
Precisely.
So that is where
and there is also a question of fitness for fast bowlers, especially.
Yeah. So definitely, I'm not denying that they have to bowl 6 more overs and they have to be fielding around for 50 overs. Mine was more context specific. Like for example, if these bowlers are really good with executing Yorkers and slower balls, it is a very logical thing to assume that they are going to be good death bowlers. So
you can have it as a broad pointer, but this should not be the clincher. This should not be the clincher.
The thing is that what I would say, I would go. I think Rahul Dravid has mentioned this somewhere. I don't remember where. That if you are picking up people from the IPL, you put them into international competitions in different places as part of the A team or something like that.
Yes.
Those are fine.
Yes.
Give them the option. Do you want to fast track them at the expense of somebody? See, now there is this. What is that guy's name? I'm forgetting that guy's name. He plays for one of the Saurashtra Gujarat teams. He's a swing bowler. Did he turn up for India somewhere? I don't remember. He swings the ball like nobody's business, but I don't think he's going to fit into the larger scheme of things because I don't think, I'm forgetting his name. I'm really sorry.
I get it. He had a very good Ranji season.
Yeah, he was taking wickets by the bucketfuls.
Okay, but Saurashtra, Unadkat was one. Who else was there? I forget his name.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. See, Gautam, my point is it can be a parameter. You can benchmark, you can use it as one of the parameters for guiding you towards the right choices. Can it be the only way? Maybe not. Because see, this is a fast-paced game. And if you are looking at the India T20 team, a lot of people pick themselves already. See, in the bowling department, Navdeep Saini has already played. Washington Sundar has already played.
Because one other reason I'm asking this is because I also want to see the likes of Bumrah and other people not, get rested. Because we've started using Bumrah to the extent of, I think he's probably going to burn out in a couple of years.
Yeah, agreed. So you need replacements.
If you have the likes of, Arshdeep or Natarajan.
That is good. If you have plenty of options, it also allows you the luxury of kind of giving some kind of rest to your stalwarts, whom you can use on the longer version, especially in tests, which is still, I consider, to be the acme of international cricket.
Yeah, it seems to be for this team, so which is a good thing. So it seems to be that even for the likes of Bumrah, Test cricket seems to be.
I go back to our 2019 World Cup team: Pant, Dinesh Karthik, Vijay Shankar, Kedar Jadhav. They all walked in because of their performance in the T20 league. Almost.
I think the problem was they did not have. They were not managing the selection quite well. And they had to make decision of something, and then they ended up with the most recent tournament memory. So that is where the
whole problem was. Yeah, I get it. But it's a good point to discuss rather than, because we have discussed so much about the individual teams and the individual performances within this IPL. It is a good way also to talk about a larger perspective.
Yes.
Bala, I remembered the one part of the player's name. Somebody Gurbani.
Gurbani, man. Shit. Gurbani.
Yeah. Gurbani, I don't remember. He swings the ball for fun. Just like that.
Amazing swing, man.
The only thing is he's bowling 125, 130 kilometers.
Gurbani. He was taking wickets as you said, by the buckets.
Yeah. So Gurbani, I shouldn't forget because it is the Sikh prayer. So yeah. Anyway, I think good. I think we have almost done with it. Half an hour. We had a good time. So, any final thoughts, Bala, for the day?
Nothing, man. I'm just trying to look at the name of Gurbani.
Rajneesh
Nothing more.
Gurbani. Okay, Rajneesh Gurbani.
Okay, Rajesh.
You shouldn't forget
Okay.
Rajneesh also. Man, look, this is bad. Shows we are getting on.
Forgetting Gurbani is bad enough. Forgetting Rajneesh is a
Is
bigger
worse.
crime.
I think that is enough. Gautam, you have any thoughts? Anything?
See,
I think
yeah.
we just covered it all.
But my top four, since we are close to the halfway mark, my obviously first three teams, as you clearly said, Mumbai, Delhi, and Bangalore. I would like to see the fourth team being Calcutta rather than Hyderabad.
Okay, so that is our choice.
I would ideally like for a team which has not won an IPL to win this one. I don't want Mumbai to win this again. So either Delhi or
So see, by that logic, only Delhi is left in the
No,
top.
RCB, man.
RCB,
RCB,
Delhi
oh
is
yeah,
there,
how can I
right?
forget RCB?
So yeah,
So
two teams.
SRH, if you forget their Deccan Charges past, you can include SRH also.
No,
So,
SRH has won, no? SRH did win 2 years back.
SRH back, yeah, under Warner.
Under Warner, they won, right?
Won.
They won. Oh, yeah, they won.
And as Deccan Chargers, they also won.
Yeah, under Gilchrist.
Gilchrist.
Yeah.
The second edition, they won.
Second edition.
Yeah. So okay, on that happy note.
Yes.
Yeah, on that happy note,
we'll wind up
and we'll see what happens between Mumbai and that is something
Delhi.
for tomorrow morning. We'll see you later in the evening.
Ciao.
Take care, and I'm stopping the live stream, and I'm stopping.